Hello, welcome to the Battling Barrow and another video. In this I'm going to be looking at doing away with all my Citadel paints. Of course you might be looking at this video and thinking, why are you doing that? Well, let's have a look at why I'm doing this. Yeah, so Citadel Paints, I have not liked that style of paint pot since it was introduced. I detest it and I've put up with it for quite a long time. I don't know if Games Workshop, Citadel were doubling down on that pot design, but it seems to be one of the longest running ones and you never hear anyone say, oh, that pot design, that's good, isn't it? So I've had enough. I'm moving away from Games Workshop paint and I'll be using alternative brands. That's not to say that I'm going to do away with all Citadel colours. There's some I like dry out bark, that I can't find a suitable replacement for, so I will be rebottling those into a more suitable pot. I'm not going to be using dropper bottles either because I don't like them. I'm not really a dropper bottle person. I know that's going against the general consensus, but they're just not for me. I'm an old fuddy-duddy who is stuck in his ways and wants to return to like the late 80s, early 90s and use those flip-top paint pots, preferably the Hex Pots. They were my favourite. Yeah. So first of all, let's have a look at my existing paint collection. These are my Citadel paints in this. They're in a TT Combat rack. At the top I put my contrast paints and a few dropper bottles. I'm going to get rid of all these because I'm now fed up with the lids. So the first set of paints I'm going to use in my replacement plan are my Old Hex Pot GW paints. I love these. These are my preferred paint pots. I think Games Workshop should go back to them. Why? Very simple. Is you can see back here, I've got a space here. On these funny current pots, you can only get 4 of these in here, and this is designed for Citadel paints by TT Combat, but you're going to get 4 in here, right? Whereas with these Hex Pots, you can get 5 in. Because the reason why is because they're designed to stack better on your shelf due to the nature of being hexagonal. You stack up lovely like that, so you're not getting any room messed around here. It's not perfect, but you can get 5 in. So if I do this, and the way I found to do this is the front, see I've got this lovely massive gap at the back here. I can put one of those in, look at that, brilliant. So one, you can get more paints on your shelf than what I could before, so that's going to be great. So what have we got here? I got an old Hawk turquoise, an old enchanted blue. Let's have a look at them as we go in, just in case people aren't familiar with them. Badman yellow. I have a Warlock purple. Rotting Flesh, yay, that's just great. Cool zombie colour. Scorpion Green, that's Mute Green now, I believe, something like that. Lich Purple, and the names are better, aren't they? I just love the names. Scorpion Green and Moot Green. I'm going to go for Scorpion Green. This is a brilliant colour, Deadly Nightshade. It's a lovely dark blue, love that. Vomit Brown, definitely a good name, can't go wrong with that. I love the labels as well, it's just very evocative, isn't it? Bronze Flesh, just like exactly what it says, and I have a lovely green Orc Flesh Wash, and this smells really, really disgusting. So that's my original paints we're going to use. And then in a recent video about Goblin Green paint, I had to buy some Goblin Green paint, but the only one I could find was in a job lot of 18 paints, and I'm not complaining about that because these are brilliant, as I say. So we've got Goblin Green, Emerald Green, Putrid Green. We have another Enchanted Blue, so I'm not going to run out of that for a while. We have Snot Green. We have a Golden Yellow. We have Rotting Flesh, another one, so I've got double up of that. Bronze Flesh, again, doubling up. Snakebite Leather, one of my favourite browns from back in the day. Bleach Bone, loved Bleach Bone. We have Sunburst Yellow. We have Dark Angels Green. Space Wolves Grey. Another Scorpion Green, so definitely not running out of this bright green. Vermin Fur. A Leprous Brown. And we have Bolt Gun Metal. And Mithril Silver. Two metallics. Oh, and one more. Blood Red. Forgot to get that down. Which is awesome. Also, for the Quest for Goblin Green video update, I actually had to get some Goblin Green paints from other manufacturers. And one of the ones I got was Nostaglia 88, and this is by Warcolor. I believe this is a company from Cyprus. So I got these, and these are very, obviously, nostalgia forming, because these look like the paints that GW were putting out back in 88, which is before these, so these were trying to mimic the ones before these. This is called the Creature set, and it is again mimicking the Creature paint set of the same name, same name that Citadel put out. So it's really, really nostalgia. These are, I actually bought most of these sets back in the day and had them. So this one has Swamp Brown in. Another Rotting Flesh. We're certainly not running out of Rotting Flesh anymore. Orc Brown, which is sort of sandy yellow. Hobgoblin Orange, great. Elf Grey, gonna need some more greys in my collection. Spear Staff Brown, Worm Purple, Goblin Green, and this one has a chainmail, so I actually have all the 3 silver metallics now between these and these. You can see that Bolt Gun's going to be the darkish, Chainmail's a mid, and Mithril's lighter. Yeah, so I don't know how close these are to what they are originally, since I don't have anything to really compare them to, but to my mind they look similar. The pots are very similar. I think these are actually the same brand of pot as Coat d'Arms paints. And speaking of Coat d'Arms paints, I have Coat d'Arms paints. Yep, this is again all part of the Quest for Goblin Green video. Started off getting some Goblin Green from them. Already used to use them, so I got this Panzer Grey here. You can see it's well used, but it's Panzer Grey, so it's like a dark, almost black grey. Great. But we have, I didn't buy any set or anything, I just bought colours I thought I'd need. So I've got 101, which is white. Always need a good white, so it's just white, skull white in GW terms, I guess, or whatever it's called now. What is it called now? No, can't remember. Anyway, Chaos Black, or just black to you and I, Abaddon Black in new money. Goblin Green. We have Royal Blue, which is a replacement for Citadel's Regal Blue. Have Hairy Brown, which is a replacement for Bestial Brown, which is now Morfang Brown. Vampire Red, which is a replacement for Red Gore, and I don't know what it is in new paint. So that's nice deep red, which will complement the Blood Red and Citadel range quite nicely as a base shade kind of situation. We have Shadow Grey, which is Shadow Grey in old money. I think it's now called the Fang or Shadow Fang or something like that nowadays. But it's a grey blue, and it's perfect for doing stuff like Gandalf's hat and things. Now got a lot of Gandalf miniatures. These are, I guess, from their what I call their fantasy range. This comes from their medieval range. Doesn't really matter. It's just how they divide them up. This is a flesh. Don't think there's an equivalent to this. If we look at the modern Kislev flesh, it's on par with that, but it's a bit lighter. They do alternatives to Kislev flesh and whatever the other one is and things, but that's like the old Games Workshop dwarf and elf flesh, which is what it's called in coat of arms. But for flesh, I'm a big fan of the contrast paints doing flesh, but I wanted to get some really light flesh colour to do some sort of extreme highlights, so that's what that's for. Got a mid-grey. It's just nothing fancy. I guess it's like a Codex Grey or Dawnstone type colour, and we have the aforementioned Dark Panzer Grey. So that is a good start. So I mentioned earlier on that I want to some GW paints I'm actually going to use, such as dry bark. But I can't stand these pots, and even contrast paints I'm thinking of repotting. A lot of people like dropper pots, I don't. I prefer this style of pot, or the hex pot preferably. See in the background here. I like these. This is my kind of jam paint pots. And the nice thing about coat of arms is they sell them empty. Got fresh empty pots. So we will be pouring paints I want to keep that I can't find a good substitute for into these style of pots, and I'll also be probably removing the label. Now these are 18mm, they hold 18mm. I think Nostaglia 88 paints say they're 20mm in the same pot. Yeah, it's got here 20mm, so I would go for the air on the side of caution. But if we have a look at some contrast paints from Games Workshop, I forget where it tells you on this, but I believe these are, yes, these are 18mm. So in time I'll be buying a load of these, and even my contrast paints will be whacked into this style of pot. So I think for the process I'm just going to keep it really simple and just pour it in to begin with. That's all in there, lovely. All I've got to do now is remove the label from here, carefully put it on to here, and it fits. Lovely. Games Workshop. Yeah, sort your paints out, get them done so like this, and that's it. So that is my paints, and this is what the rack looks like now. I still do have Citadel Paints. I have some old inks here, which I will replace as and when they get run out, and I'll probably replace them with coat de arms inks, so that's what they are. Still got some colours I want to put into bottles that I can't seem to find or use. The green camo there, that is really dry, and I use that for weathering on terrain projects. I'll probably keep that in that tub. But we can see here we've got the old style hex bottles, which are the best, and if there are any paint companies who want to get in on the act on the sort of nostalgia colours, put your paints in there, because they are just brilliant, because you can fit more paints in this rack. For instance, they take up less room, so normally in this style of old school pot, or maybe even the modern GW ones, you can only get 4 in this rack. I can get 5 in, and really at a push I can get 5 of the circular coat of arms and nostalgia ones as well, but they just take up less room, the hex pots anyway, and just stack nicely. You can get 5 in of these, but they're a bit bumpy, if that makes any sense. Maybe sort of down here you can sort of see them sticking out a bit, but you can get 5 in. So yep, Coat to Arms paints are probably going to be my paints of choice from this point forward. I do like the Nostalgia 88 colours, but coming from Cyprus, they take about a month to get to the UK. Nothing, that's not the company's fault, that's just the way things are in the world. So just via that, Coat to Arms, I ordered these next day and they arrived, so that is brilliant. Yeah, I'm really pleased with these paints. It's just nice to have these sort of colours back in action, which I've missed. So and as I said, colours I can't get hold of that are modern paints they don't do in this sort of older retro ranges. You can just get some pots from Coat to Arms and transfer them into there, so all's good. But that is it for this little video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next video, stay safe and take care.